1.
This is the first video in a series that I'd like to do where I go over various keys with Holy Priest or any other healer that I'm currently learning to get a better idea of what I'm doing, so kind of review in real time after the fact. So this is after the key, it's not live, but this is my second week healing. I think first week of like keys, but second week after leveling. I'm a DPS player, play a lot of Warlock, have played Evoker, and recently have wanted to learn how to heal. So we're getting into some lower keys right now. We're on a 14 rise, and we're just kind of playing a few keys here and there with different builds to get an idea of what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. Kind of review these for the YouTube channel. So if there's any other healers, they can kind of take away like what I'm doing wrong, what I'm doing right, kind of work together to hopefully build up that experience a little quicker. So yeah, we're playing a Lightweaver build in this key. So basically just focusing on having my flash heal and heal. And then I also got my tier set. I think this was the first key that I have 4-piece on this character. So that's helping a lot with the renews and I believe the procs on the holy words, being able to get those refunded or for free, I believe. So we're playing around that, and I feel like the heals are a lot better and more consistent, like the large heals when people get chunked. But I do like the consistency, especially with bursting, where I'm not super familiar with my cooldowns yet, to play around the Lightweaver build and always have a chunky heal ready to go. So starting off pretty standard, I would say. One thing that I'm noticing in my play is I'll try to top people off maybe a little more than I should. Just kind of maybe a new healer mentality. When you see health bars that aren't full, you want to top them off as quick as possible. So in this case, I see the mage isn't full, so I'm casting heals on them and trying to get them up. But what I need to be doing a little bit more of is anticipating damage, so make sure my prayer mendings go out, maybe throw heals, or maybe manually cast renews. I've heard that's not the best strategy, but just try to get heals out there a little more consistently, as well as spending my Rhapsody stacks. Those kind of fall by the wayside when there's a lot going on, so working on getting those out. But see, like, people take a lot of damage all at once. I need to be able to anticipate that, throw a shield out, have my prayer mendings bouncing. That would benefit a lot. Trinkets are also kind of a sore spot for me too, manually casting those. I think I've only played 2 or 3 keys with the trinkets I have. I've never really played with healer trinkets, so it's something to get used to as well. I have the voodoo totem, and I believe the red one. Forget what it's called exactly, but I believe you charge it up and it will heal somebody who falls below 35% health. I have that keybound to my Apotheosis, just because they share similar cooldowns. I can see situations where I would want to use it without Apotheosis, maybe start it at the beginning of a pull and kind of charge it up, but there's just a lot of buttons that I am not familiar with pressing, and I already forget ones in my normal rotations. So here we just try to pop the first one as quick as possible, of course ensuring that people are topped up. Damage goes out. I didn't want to pop his yet. I did end up popping it a little earlier than I should have. I could have waited another few seconds to get people topped up more. I almost died for that, so gotta watch out for big damage events like that. Just trying to do some damage to the boss. 12k damage, could probably be a bit higher. I've been casting a lot of smites and trying to do my holy water. And I think my dots are ticking, so there's some more damage I can squeeze out of this for sure. So we're getting back to the edge here to make sure we bait the frontal. I got the debuffs again. Let's see how I handle this. So everybody's topped off a little more. There we go. I could have dispelled him maybe a touch sooner, but that's okay. Prayer Mending's still on our off cooldown, so I can cast that a little sooner. Did not have to use Apotheosis for this fight, it looks like. So both my trinkets fell in the unused category. There might be a play where Apotheosis is just used earlier, or I just need to, you know, use the trinket separately. But that would at least get it on cooldown, make sure that we can survive those damage events, and then have them for later. So here, I make sure to type to use personals on this. It's a Tyrannical week, so we shouldn't be taking that much damage. But it's good to get in the habit of it and have that extra help. So it looks like the mage used one. Health didn't drop much, but the other two didn't, or they just took a bit more damage, so I'm always down to heal 2 people instead of 3. Another AoE coming out. Make quick work of that. And so here's a good spot where, yeah, we don't need to be burning flash heals, we don't need to be burning mana. We can throw renews on people, or maybe do a quick Rhapsody cast with my Holy Nova and passively top people off. So I think this one I got caught at the very end. Yeah, I think it triggered slightly early because of the paladin there. I don't think I end up making it through. I think I have to take the portal on this one. Yeah, running into everybody else's orbs. I think I wanted to give it one more go to see if I could beat it. Ended up wasting a little bit of time because I got opened here and I was feeling good. But yeah, we just got hit by the edge of that frontal, so it's all good. My holy water on cooldown, or hasn't been used yet. Health bars really aren't dipping, so that's something I can do to improve quite a bit, I think, is top people off for the damage events, get my prayer mending out, get people into a good spot, and then just focus on my DPS rotation and at least get everything I can on cooldown, because my dots aren't ticking right now. He's falling a little low. But overall, not too bad. Not too bad. So this next phase, I realized that these little guys don't proc bursting. So that's a good sign. We can just kind of clear through them. I think a couple people get a little bit low during this, but not too bad. Just focus on my dispels as quickly as I can. Prayer Mending would be helpful here, just lots of AoE damage. It's still up for me. Mage took a bunch of damage. Doesn't look like a whole lot's going on here, so we're just trying to keep up playing the whack-a-mole game, trying to get health bars up. And we're not using too much mana, we're almost at 100%, so I think it's fine to expend a little bit more here, but I think just DPSing in this case would make things go a little faster. And I've got my holy water, or holy fire, whatever that is. I've got that can still be cast. I'm getting my dots out, I'm getting smites out, but I think I can be a little bit more useful here. especially in the packs, so I can get the dispel off so he doesn't keep taking damage. Oh, it's on cooldown. I'm surprised. This class seems, or this spec of priest seems really good for a beginner. I'm able to look at health bars on the fly and kind of know what I need to press. I've got about 3 or 4 buttons that constantly need to be on cooldown, or I need to be thinking about them, and most of the time they're up and ready to go. It is really easy to burn through a bunch of mana though, so that's something to keep in mind, but it seems pretty beginner friendly. Like I said, I've only been playing healer for about a week, maybe 2 weeks with leveling. So still relatively new, but I feel like it fits my playstyle pretty well. So going into this fight, the tank can take a few different paths. He decided to pull pretty much everything that was in front of us, which is no problem on a key like this. In higher keys, there's going to be some skips that you can do either here, or pull these and do some skips on the other side. So a lot of learning how to heal so far for me has been figuring out where the tank's going to take the most damage. Is it going to be on a pack that we normally pull, or may have to think a little bit more ahead if he pulls something like this, but luckily I don't have to pop too many cooldowns for any of these situations, so we'll have him going into the boss. Here we're just trying to heal through the mechanics. It's like these aren't getting stunned. The hunter's running for his life over there. There we go, he got stunned, but I may have been able to switch targets there and get that guy down. But he didn't cause too much damage to the group, so we're doing okay. This case, throughout prayer mending would be helpful. Still on cooldown, even though we're going to take bursting stacks, so that's just something I need to get used to. I'm trying to bait to the side here, so his frontal doesn't hit the ads, and empower them. But I believe we have ranged baiting in the middle, yeah, and so they're going to get empowered. That's how I understand this fight anyways. You want to bait to the outsides, so those don't get hit, but you can always avoid that. You can with positioning, but if you're in a pug group, usually people just kind of stand wherever. And in a 14, I don't expect people to know all the mechanics, so we're just going to be casting a bunch of stuff here. I did pop Apotheosis. Looks like things are getting a little hairy. So I still have my Angel ability that can save people. Health bars are getting a little low. Prayer mending's still something that can be used. Yeah, just kind of playing a game of whack-a-mole here with the health bars, and like my prayer mending stayed on cooldown there for about 30 seconds. That would have helped. I could have used it 3 times, and that would have helped a ton there. I think the last one gets baited on me. Yeah. Rhapsody stacks have been sitting at 20 for a while as well. So I think with comfort, I'll be able to get those cooldowns in my rotation a little easier. Because if that fight went on for another like couple minutes, let's see, it was a 1 minute 45 second Tyrannical fight. So if it went, 3-4 minutes, we probably would have been out of mana with as much damage that was going out. So we really want to be careful as we get into higher keys. But again, Rhapsody would be great here. Lots of AoE damage, Prayer Mending still on cooldown, just kind of the same deal over and over. Just want to start prioritizing those two abilities with these AoE situations. I'm doing just a lot of single target healing and flash healing, so lots of mana's going out. So we're going into Morchi here. The damage events I'm thinking about are, of course, the fixates that come towards you. You want to make sure that you are healing the group up to full, or so everyone's healthy for when those go off. Try not to get too many stacked at the same time. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on. And I want to say I use my shield a little bit better here. I'm getting a bit more comfortable and warmed up in the dungeon, so I'm using my shield a bit more. In this case, like, they want to lust Morchi, which is fine. I should have typed beforehand that we want to lust after the first clone phase, because you're not going to get that much time to DPS. You'll be doing a lot more running around and have to stop damage for a minute. So that'd be a good thing to communicate to pug groups, because they lust right off the bat here. So just a good way to optimize your damage in this fight. So everybody's taking a bunch of damage going into it. But I want to say very little damage comes out of the beginning of the fight anyway, so it would have been okay to kind of pull early. Tank took the frontal, no big deal. Yeah, I'm tossing out like a couple of damage abilities. With lust there, it would have been better to throw out more damage abilities quicker and then focus on healing after, but I did throw out a couple of healing cooldowns that may have been unnecessary, so. Got Morchi going here. She's gonna throw out her time traps here shortly, and then do the fixates in about 5 seconds. So I'm gonna try to position myself near one of these. Prayer Mending is on cooldown, which is great. Prayer Mending would be great to throw out now, because only the tank's getting hit, and we know we're gonna see a lot of damage pop out. So I throw it out there. Could have had another one about now if I threw it out sooner. Something I've noticed lately too, right when the ping system came out, a lot of people were like pinging these, and nowadays I'm not seeing it as much, so if you're ever in a group that is doing this boss, the ping system helps a ton. Just throw out a ping when you see the boss, get everybody running in that direction. I got really lucky there, she didn't frontal me there as well. Okay. At this point, everyone's spread out pretty far, and I was mainly looking at health bars, not mechanics, so I think that one will be cleaned up a bit with experience. I got a little turned around here. We went out the way we came in. But yeah, so we're heading into last boss here. We have a one more small pack of dragons to clear right before the boss room. So those ones do a lot of AoE damage. But we should be good. I have all my cooldowns. Apotheosis will be back before that that section. We also have one death. I don't think I reapplied my buff, so something to think about there too. Guy tried to knock me off. So right here I'm calling out who has orbs. Just a very good thing to do when you're pugging. Make sure somebody's thinking about it. I was playing DPS the other day with a healer who called to have orbs so they could stand in one place longer, and it didn't work out very well. They were overwhelmed. They had to stand in. They had to run back and forth across the room, you know, a couple times as you chase those dragons around, and they ended up getting stuck in the back of the room catching an orb and not anywhere near the group. So with how new I am to healing and how I saw that go down, I knew I didn't necessarily want to be in charge of the orbs. And we had two other ranged who were happy to do it. And if I remember right, I got a little squirrely towards the end, but we ended up holding it together and actually working together pretty well through this for a pug group. So I was pleasantly surprised about that. So dragon's going down. Everybody's topped off. So in this fight, we're just going to do kind of what we've been prepping to do, so make sure our cooldowns are constantly being used. You know, make sure we're not grabbing those, and then before the second orb falls, make sure everyone's topped off best we can. So I think right off the gate we're checking all those boxes. Just kind of looking at health bars, making sure everyone's topped off and dispelled. So this is where I might have been able to help out a little bit. I think I noticed that the hunter needed to deal with the affix. I could have stepped in as orb for a second, but I think we timed it correctly. There's going to be one here in a second that doesn't get timed correctly, so two people in it. Got health bars falling just a little low, but we're able to keep them all topped off using not too much mana. We're getting more in the groove. Prayer Mending could be used. This is where they both fall pretty quickly, but I noticed that we all go down to about half health if we're topped off. So less than ideal, but it's not going to cause any deaths, it seems. So we're doing just fine there. In this case, yeah, it looks like people were just kind of on the move, not paying attention to it. So I grabbed the orb. Hunter ran through it, not a big deal. I could have done a little less moving there and just let it fall on its own so I could get people topped off. In a higher key, that would have been important. We used Apotheosis, it looks like, to get that last little bit of healing taken care of. This is when it gets a little spicy. So when you can stand still, just start casting. Got my DPS cooldowns that can be used to make this fight go a little quicker. So the hunter, yeah, this one I kind of had to take take the damage of the orb. The hunter wasn't standing in it, or he was away, so not a huge deal. You just have to be flexible in this fight. I don't think if you have 3 ranged in a group, you can't really call it and expect people to be in a position to take the orb every time. So you kind of have to be flexible if you're a ranged player. Coming from, I played, DPS Warlock before this, so oftentimes I would have to be the person on the orbs or be thinking about that. So it's more natural to me, but so he should have it. Make sure everybody's topped off. Again, prayer mending could be used here, where we're going to be taking some AoE damage. And then he doesn't move out of a bunch of swirlies and just kind of takes it. But as a healer, I'm learning more and more that you can do your best to save people from, a lot of different kinds of damage, but you can't always save them from, multiple big damage events. So yeah, we're moving up a little bit in our keys. We're getting more experience and stuff, and that's kind of what this series is about, is making sure I can review my gameplay, get some feedback and tips and stuff from others in the community, and yeah, just have a good time playing healer. So we will end it there and catch you guys in the next one.